Hi folks, Florida Man here, with a new strategic maxim. Fight one battle at a time. Don't get into a two-front war. This one is less of a common phrase cribbed from a strategy manual and more of just a historic observation. Fight one battle at a time. Historically, what this is meant to represent is that two-front wars are frequently very bad for the side that has to fight on more than one front. Germany lost 2 world wars in which it faced opponents on both sides of its borders, and Napoleon lost the Napoleonic Wars in large part because he was fighting a war against multiple European powers at once for much of the duration. In the game of diplomacy, the idea of fighting one battle at a time, one front at a time, is just as relevant as it is from a historical or military standpoint. It seems straightforward and easy to remember and follow. Just fight one person at a time. Of course, it's actually harder than that, because this maxim encompasses several elements. As you see in this game, Germany quickly gets taken out when he's attacked on 2 fronts. The same thing happens to Austria on almost exactly the same time scale, and eventually France also becomes involved in a 2-front war with both Italy and England, while England was also trying to fend off a Turkish solo attempt. In other words, France and England each involved themselves in 2-front wars that were avoidable before the end. The power that came closest to only fighting on one front at a time during the game was Turkey, and the result of the game was a Turkish victory. The way I like to think about this rule is you have to identify a power that's hostile to you, or to whom you believe you should be hostile. You need to be able to devote your whole energy and attention to fighting this one power. So you have to make sure you have no enemies other than that power. You have to make sure there are no powers that will jump onto that power's side if you attack them. And ideally, you have to see movement by the other powers that could attack you away from your borders, and toward engaging with an enemy that isn't you. You should have accomplished each of those prerequisites before you fight anyone, ideally, or you're liable to wind up in a 2-front war. The first part, of course, finding someone to fight, is quite easy. The other elements require skillful diplomacy. But this is really a core strategic consideration in the game of diplomacy. Almost every time I've been beaten in this game has been because I was attacked by more than one power at once. When that happens, you're doomed. Tactical play can only delay the inevitable, while you hopefully talk one or more of your enemies into making peace with you so that you can return to fighting one battle at a time. The only exception to this rule, and the only time when you should allow yourself to fight more than one enemy at once, is when your allied forces actually outnumber their combined forces. That is going to be unusual, but I usually count up how many units my opponents have to throw at me, and how many units I have to throw at them, as a rough method for calculating our respective strength. I hope you liked this video, and if so, I hope you'll like and subscribe and check out more videos. And if you're one of the people who watches my Strategic Maxims videos, I'm pretty sure you're a super fan of the game of diplomacy. If that's correct, please comment below and tell me about how you got into diplomacy. Until next time, Florida Man, out.